W420radionetwork.com.
Hey, if you want to be dialed into the ever-changing world of weed, you've got to do two things, my friends. You've got to first listen to America's Cannabis Conversation. You're already doing that. And you also have to read Sensi Magazine, the cannabis lifestyle and culture magazine. And who better to talk to us about it than Nancy Birnbaum, the founding publisher and market director of Sensi Magazine NorCal. Nancy, welcome to the W420 Radio Network. Great to have you on board.
Thanks, Rich. Good to be here.
Yeah, for sure. You just told me you guys are number one. Nobody has more viewers and readers than you guys do. So tell me, you're 5 years old. You've come a long way, baby.
It's true. We have. And some of that just really in the last, since the middle of COVID, I guess, the late last year, we really made a concerted effort to kind of switch up how we were doing things. And we really put a lot of effort into increasing our reach and, getting in front of more people. And it's worked really well because we've now overtaken all the other publications in the cannabis space, and we're the number one media magazine in cannabis. It's a great place to be, and we love how we're growing and expanding into so many different markets around the country. It's a good time.
Yeah. Now, how many people are actually reading or linking or watching what you do?
So we should get some updated numbers from the March data shortly, but from February, we were at over 400,000. Actually, just going into March, over 400,000 unique viewers to our website, sensimag.com, which then put us even over high times. Unfortunately, they were kind of going down in January as we were going up. So or in November, I guess. No, it was January. Yeah. So we're excited for the progress that we're making in trying to reach all kinds of people. You look at these covers behind me in my backdrop, and you see a magazine that's more of a city and lifestyle magazine. It doesn't really look like anything that came before, so it's certainly something that's accessible and of interest to people like we call the canna curious. But also it's read by a lot of people in the industry. So we've developed these 6 different reader profiles of all kinds of different people that enjoy the variety of content that we have, and we're also growing each of our markets, because we have 7 kind of mega markets that we kind of came into this year with, from California to Nevada to Boston, Michigan, of course, Colorado, which is where we started. And we're expanding we just opened up Oklahoma, and soon I hope the New York tri-state area. So we're expanding all across the country.
And what is your demographic breakdown? I mean, a lot of people think it's that women are the untapped resource in the cannabis world. And how much are you seeing, an ascent in that regard in female readers and the like?
Yeah, well, I'm glad you asked that. I think going into this year, we were seeing almost half and half between male and female readers. But we're seeing an uptick in female, in just the women's presence in the industry overall. There's a lot of new articles that have just come out about how more women than men now agree that cannabis should be legalized federally, and more women are coming into the space as consumers, and certainly as the industry grows, we're seeing a lot more women in positions of the C-suite, entering the C-suite or starting companies, and that's something that I've been involved in since before Sensi. Actually, Sensi found me after I had created a group here in Sonoma County, kind of an offshoot of Women Grow called Women's Cannabis Business Development, or Women's CBD. And that was just basically here to help support entrepreneurs, both men and women in the
Yeah.
industry. And I was doing a lot of great educational programs and some fun professional networking here. And it was just a great way to start building community.
And I see that in one of your articles that the reddest states are the hottest weed markets. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, yeah, I guess because so many of the red states still haven't legalized, there's probably a lot of pent up demand. And unfortunately, that's driving the illegal market. And we find that in pretty much across the country, wherever it's not legalized, there's a lot of illicit, you know, cannabis being sold and unfortunately not being regulated. And so therefore, who knows what you're getting, and, you know, buyer beware, all of that. It's you know, it's certainly tricky there to, you know, in the States, primarily in the South, I think, where there's just so much resistance because of the stigma that goes along with it. And it's pretty much why Sensi's here, is to help dispel that stigma and help educate people about the healing properties of the plant. You know, we cover a lot of plant medicine, not just cannabis. And it's really about helping educate people.
Yeah. And tell me again about the derivation of the name, because sensei, you think of sensimilla, you may think of something else, but what is it? What's the essence of your title?
Yeah, it's fun. We delve into that for our anniversary April issue, celebrating our 5 years now. And Sensi is short for sensimilla, and it's also a term that's similar to sensei. That's a, you know, the term that denotes the educator or the teacher. And that fits for who we are, is we're certainly honoring the plant as well as helping educate people.
You know, I love the content. I was reading a number of your features. So tell me a little bit about some of the go-to, you know, really strong attractions that you have in the Sensei magazine.
Attractions, yeah, sure. We cover everything. It's really a lifestyle city magazine that's all about helping educate both the kind of curious as well as folks in the industry. And so we really are broad in our scope of you know, interest and content. We have some great sections that people really enjoy, like the buzz. So in each market, it's the same layout, same format. And the buzz might cover all the things that are happening locally that you might find fun to do. We also have an events section that's going to have local or regional events and great things to do. We'll have product mentions in the buzz, so you'll find all kinds of new things to try, whether that's a great CBD brand or a new drink or edibles or anything else that you might find interesting, as well as non-cannabis. Of course, we're going to be covering anything lifestyle related. And then we have some great sections like the life, and that's going to have our features as well as you know, national content. So there might be articles that are of interest to everybody, and that could be anything from a spacation, like our March issue for NorCal had our NorCal issue had a spacation with local great spas, some of them offering CBD treatments, and some, you know, just great places to go for relaxation, and, you know, close by in NorCal. So we really cover, you name it, we cover it. There's all kinds of information.
Yeah, and your sensibilities, what's that all about?
So we have one of the best editor-in-chief that you could imagine. Stephanie Wilson is our editor-in-chief, and the whole look and feel of the magazine is really due to her. She's got an incredible eye and loves to write about things that are happening just, you know, attract her attention. And so that's her column, is Sense and Sensibilities. And she's just basically given us her impressions of what's interesting this month. And always a fun read.
You know, in the day, maybe this magazine would be a bit sketchy or taboo or underground, sort of like the 12-year-old boy with a Playboy back in the day. But I think the basic acceptance has maybe elevated your profile or your readership. Just talk a little bit about the evolution of the cannabis industry and your magazine, Sensi Magazine.
Well, when we were started, 5 years ago, Ron Kolb, our CEO, just recently stepped back from CEO and just handed over the reins this week to our new CEO, Stephanie Graziano. But he came from many years in the magazine business, and because of a family illness that he had to deal with, he found that cannabis was really helpful in dealing with an issue in his family. And so he started getting involved in learning about the plant and decided that it was time for something like Sensi, which was really different from all the other magazines in the space at the time. And that could have been High Times or Dope or Culture or any of those magazines that were really just had a different focus, let's say. And Sensi he put Sensi together with Stephanie and a bunch of other great people to provide something to the layperson, to somebody who might never really be in a place to go to a dispensary or even know what to get if they went to a dispensary to buy legal cannabis. And so he really wanted to reach those people and help dispel that stigma that has come with it for so many years. It's amazing how ingrained that is. It's not easy to educate people sometimes when they're stuck in their thinking
Right.
because of whatever happened previously, to just really tell people the wrong information about this. And so that's why
Yeah, right. And breaking down old stereotypes. And I see some of your advertisements are really intriguing along the lines of the medicinal aspect of it. The medvetshq.com, the veterans helping, soldiers coming home with PTSD, or the Canna Moms, the Florida medicinal pot advocates who are trying to help kids who might have pediatric cancer be able to use some kind of cannabis. So I think there's that, that societal element that is very noteworthy, as well as just the fun and recreational side to the cannabis world.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned those, because, those are two good examples of how we incorporate and support organizations that are doing the right thing. And those were, that space we gave to them so that we could help promote the work that they're doing, both MedVets and the Canna Moms, because they're doing the things that are within our culture as well. And the Sensi culture is one of the reasons that I joined the company, because it just resonated with me. And it's such an important part of what we're doing. I was just going to pull up the pillars of the Sensi culture so that I could read them to you. But yeah, it's that kind of service to the community that we like to support. It's part of two aspects of our culture: the giving spirit and understanding heart.
Well, I love it. And maybe that's a big reason why 3 times you were voted the best publication in the industry by the Cannabis Business Awards. So you're doing the right thing. You're growing. You're number one. You beat out High Times, which started way before you, goes back to my day.
That's right.
So more power to you. It's great catching up with Nancy Birnbaum. If people want to know, they want to read, they want to get the magazine in the print copy, how do we do that?
Well, we since we couldn't deliver magazines when COVID hit, we kind of put the print on hold for a little bit. But we are going back to print pretty soon, I'm sure. It depends on the market and how COVID is doing, but in each market. But we're available digitally by going to sensimag.com. You can click on latest issue. If you want to see the magazine that I publish, it's sensimag.com/NorCal. And then you'll, of course, in each of our markets, like I said, we have hyperlocal content that everybody can enjoy. And so depending on what state you're in, you could pull up the issue that you'd like to read, or just go to sensimag.com and see all of them. We also have a new national publication that helps us kind of launch into the new markets that are coming up everywhere. And it's called Sensi Spark. We launched that with Oklahoma in January, and we're expanding that into Washington and Pennsylvania, Maryland, and Florida. And Sensi Spark is one of the great things that we came into this year with to help us expand quicker.
Well, it's been a blast talking with you, Nancy, and I love reading about the Happy Travelers tours. You get wine and
yeah. Yeah, we just gave away a free tour with them for 420. Had a wonderful giveaway, a bud and breakfast, a contest that we did. And so lucky winner got 2-night stay at the Flamingo Resort here in Santa Rosa, and also a tour with Happy Traveler Week Tours.
Such fun stuff, the boozed and infused drinks, the high holiday menu as you infuse your foods, or the Herba Buena cannabis tours in the wine country. Just all kinds of cool things to learn about. Sensi, right. SNSI, and Sensi Magazine. Nancy Birnbaum, the founding publisher and major market director for NorCal. Great catching up with you, Nancy. Best of luck and congrats on all the success.
Thanks, Rich. Good to talk with you.
Fun time. This is the W420 Radio Network. And if you want to hear this again or just grab a snippet of that, go to W420 Radio Network archive. This is Rich Walcoff, and we'll be right back.
W420radionetwork.com